Namaste everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing great. So if you are preparing for any finance related examinations, then today's lecture is going to be extremely important for you. And today we are going to understand one of the most important concept in financial management, that is the net present value. So many students find NPV very difficult because of the formula and the calculations, but trust me, this is one of the most easiest method. So by the end of this session, you will not only be able to understand the formula, but you will also understand why we calculate NPV and how to solve numerical questions confidently. So without wasting any time, let's begin with the today's lecture. So in this lecture, you're going to understand the time value of money, meaning of NPV, formula, and the step-by-step process to solve the numerical problems. You will also understand how to make decisions, investment decisions using NPV, and how to interpret the NPV results. So before discussing NPV, let me ask you a very simple question. Suppose if I give you two options, option 1 to receive 1000 today and option 2 to receive 1000 after 1 year. So which option are you going to choose? Pause the video for 5 seconds and think about your answer. So most of you probably choose 1000 today. But have you ever wondered why? Let's understand. See, we all know that time has a value. Along with that, money also have a value. So you have to understand the money has a time value. That simply means today's 1000 is worth more than tomorrow's 1000. Now you may ask why. So there are basically four main reasons. So what are these reasons? First is the opportunity to earn interest. Suppose you have 100 rupees today. Now you're going to use this 100 rupees and deposit it into a bank. And the bank is offering 10% interest per annum. So this 100 rupees will become 110 in future. That is after 1 year. So you will basically have 110 rupees, which means today's 100 is basically worth more than tomorrow's 100 rupees. So receiving money today is always a better choice. Next reason is inflation. So can you buy the same product today with rupees 100 that you could buy 10 years ago? Absolutely no, right? Because the price increases over the time and the money loses its purchasing power. Now reason number 3 is the risk. Suppose someone promises that I will give you 1 lakh after 5 years. Can you be 100% certain? No, right? The company may fail or the economy may change. So there is always a uncertainty. So basically, if you're receiving 1 lakh today, then the that will be certain, right? Next reason is most people prefer immediate consumption because most of us prefer enjoying money today rather than waiting for several years. Therefore, the future money is worth less than today's money. And because of that, we convert future money into today's value, and this process is called discounting. Got it. So you have to understand the meaning of discounting, because this is what I'm going to use throughout the session. All right. So what is discounting? When we convert future money into today's value is called the process of discounting. All right. Now to convert future money into today's value, we use a present value formula. So what is that formula? The formula is given here now. Okay. So here the PV is the present value and FV is the future value, and N represents number of years and R represent the discount rate. So remember this formula to simply convert future money into today's value. Now imagine you have to open a cafe. So the investment required today is rupees 10,000, and over the next 3 years you're going to expect to receive 4,000, 5,000, and 6,000. Now here is a question, should you invest or not? Like, we know the expected cash inflows, right? But still there is a question that I should invest or not, because these amount are received at different point of time. First, so what we have to do, firstly we have to convert this future expectations into today's value. Then we will compare that value with today's investment, right? Like, you need to have a same base to compare something, right? So that is the same thing that we are doing with this action. And when we compare the value with today's investment, that is called the NPV. Okay, so the formula to calculate NPV is very simple. So the formula is been given here. So don't be afraid of this formula. It's actually the simplest formula here. CF means the cash flow. R is your discount rate as discussed earlier, and T is the time. Okay, you can write N also. There is no such problem. Then we will subtract this to a initial investment. So in our case, we have initial investment of 10,000. So let's solve this question. So initial investments is 10,000 and discount rate is 10%, and cash flow for for year one is 4,000, right? And for year two we have 5,000, and year three is the 6,000. Now solution to this question is, we can directly use a table to present your solution perfectly, or we can simply do step by step. Firstly, you have to calculate the present value for year one. So to calculate the present value, you have this formula. You have to put all the values in this formula only. So for year one, the future value has been given as $4,000. Okay, so we'll be calculating on this. So for 4,000, and discounting rate was 10%, right? And time is 1 year. Okay, so the present value will be, you can simply do it with the help of calculator. Okay, you don't have to do a very complex thing. See, you have 4,000 future expected cash flows. So in that you have to basically convert that. So this is for the 1 year only, so we need this value, and it's 3,600 3,636.36. Okay, so you have to write at least two decimal values, till two decimal values. Now we will do the same with year 2. Now for year 2 we have 5,000, right? In this we need for 2 years, and the discount rate exactly the same as was in the year 1. So here, see, the calculator is allowed in the examination for most of the students, and if it is not, then you can use your brain, right? See, the simplest way to solve is like you need for 2 years, right? Press enter and then again enter, because we are doing for the 2 year. So this value is going to be your for second year. I'm going to write it here 4132.23. Okay. Now we are going to do for year 3 now. That is the third year. So for third year again we have the expected cash flow of 6,000, and in this our time will be 3 years, right? Now in this we require for third year, right? So we are going to press enter 1 year, 2 year, and then 3 year. Okay, so this is going to be your present value for third year, which is 54450.89. Now we have got the present value for all the 3 years. For first year we have been given this one, for second year and for third year. Now we are going to add all these present values. Okay, so after adding this present values, we're going to get $12,276.48. Now you have to calculate NPV. Okay, for calculating NPV, you have to subtract the PV with the initial investment. So our initial investment was $10,000, which is equals to 2,276.48. So this is our net present value. Now about decision, how do we interpret the NPV? So very easy. If NPV is positive, as we have in our case, we have to accept the project. And if NPV is 0, then you are indifferent. And if NPV is negative, then you have to reject the project, since our NPV is positive in this case, so we can accept it. Okay, which means the project creates the value and therefore we are going to accept it. Now advantages, if I talk about the advantages of NPV method, so it considers the time value of money, and it also considers all cash flows. It also considers the wealth creations and long-term profitability. But if I talk about the limitations, NPV also have some limitations, like cash flow estimates may not always be correct, and while selecting the wrong discount rate, right? Or you may produce misleading results. So the calculations are comparatively more complex. Now students often ask what happens if the discount rate increases. Can you answer this question in the comment section? What happens if the discount rate increases? Okay, so write the answer in the comment section, and if you want, then we can solve more questions related to NPV in the upcoming sessions. All right, so for today's session we're going to end it here only, and if you have any question or any query, you can ask me in the comment. Okay.